Hey guys, this is Jeff Pro, representing Unite Against Police Terror San Diego, and I have Scott here that witnessed the incident with the riot police and when Rochelle got shot in the face with a beanbag. So why don't you give us your full name and then tell us what happened?
Scott Jones. I got here that night, came down here, talked to a few people down here for about 30 minutes. Probably wasn't even 10 people that were in the parking lot by the visual. Then when some of them left, people I was talking to, I went down to Broadway and Mollison on the corner. There was a small group of like 5-6 people that were, talking crap to the cops and whatnot, and probably about 50 cops. They made the announcement to, to everybody had to leave because of unlawful assembly. But they mentioned the parking lot, the 7-Eleven parking lot. So I was on the sidewalk. Cops made an L-shaped formation going down going up Mollison and then down Broadway, and then just was slowly walking towards the 7-Eleven parking lot. We still had that little group that was about 10 yards in front of them, that were talking to them. And
did you know did you see anybody throwing anything or
I didn't see anybody throw anything.
No. Okay.
They just were that group that were just, yelling at them and whatnot.
Right.
And but they would back up as the cops came forward. I was on the sidewalk the whole time. Once they got past the sidewalk and were into the 7-Eleven parking lot, I came around through the Wendy's drive-through and came around the alley to the far side of the laundromat and just was watching to see if anything happened. By that time I got around there, they were past the 7-Eleven, still advancing towards the laundromat. That group of
protesters
that were yelling, they went down Mollison. None of them split off and went down the alley.
Okay.
The people who went down the alley, I was by myself, but when I went down, there's a few others that were videotaping, they were not part of that group. And we were probably about 20 yards when they first let off a little pepper spray pellets or something, Then after that went off, and we were still always walking back, never got anything, was told to evacuate any other area. The only thing that I heard was the 7-Eleven parking lot.
Do you remember seeing Rochelle when you were entering the alley or anything like that?
Not at that moment. I mean, looking back, she is in my shot, but it wasn't until we were backing up and then more stuff started going off, and you can hear her, she screams and
oh shit!
Did you hit? Did it hit you?
Give me the fucking face! Fuck you!
And so I asked if she got hit, and then she was pissed off. And
how far away were you from Rochelle when she got hit in the face?
Oh, I was right next to her.
You're right next to her?
A couple of feet.
Were there any other people around?
Yeah, I think there was a couple in front of me when the first little shots were at us, and then but I don't believe anybody was in front of me when they set out the flash grenades.
So all the people you just mentioned in that alley that were pretty much getting attacked were separate from the people yelling in front?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because what I could tell, they went down Mollison, and because those people were next to me at the corner of the laundromat. So as the cops got closer, we just were walking backwards away.
They were just standing there observing and watching the guys yell at the cops.
To me they were either onlookers or there was some guys that were filming, had their phones out just like I did, but they were not part of that group that were yelling at the cops. And like I said, it wasn't even 10 of them.
Right.
It was less than 10. So yeah, everybody there listened to what their commands were earlier.
Right.
And I think after talking to her, she was saying that she just got there before all that happened, because she never heard any commands. The command that they got to evacuate the 7-Eleven parking lot was probably 15-20 minutes before all that happened.
So you didn't see her till you were hanging out on the corner right there, and then...
Yeah, that's when at that moment when I noticed her was when she got hit.
Oh, okay.
And then she got hit, and you hear her yelling, and then that's when the flash grenades went off, and I saw her go by the car and hide behind the car, and I kept walking backwards.
So what do you think about all that just happened? What do you think about it?
Well, it was totally unprovoked. There was no violence, period, whether it was with that group or with the people walking down. The people that were backing up down the alley with me, they were all by the laundromat where I was filming, that were right by me, wasn't part of that group. And yeah, to unload like that, it was shocking. I think everybody, I videotaped it, you can hear me say, like, what the hell is that all about, you know? Because that was the last thing I think anybody expected.
Right, and it's residential all along right there.
Well, yeah, like I said, you see a car pull in. I don't know who was in the car, and but they obviously didn't give a crap about whoever that was, because when they let off that second attack, I mean, you could see where it goes off, and that car is right there. That's really about it, other than whether it was the protesters or the people that were just bystanders, or people just filming. I didn't see anybody that was not following what they were saying, which was to evacuate the 7-Eleven parking lot. I didn't see no violence. There were people yelling at the cops, but I don't think that's a reason to open fire with what they did.
Right.
And they weren't even, the people that were yelling didn't even go down that alley. That's basically about it.
Cool. All right, and just to finish off here, did I ask you what you were going to say, or told you to say anything, or did I interrogate you, or is this the first time you've been answering any questions?
Yep.
Cool.
Just met you before the interview, so.
All right. Well, thanks again for your help and support.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
I went to go pick up food for my wife. Our daughter was born on 9/12, 37 minutes after 9/11. Luckily, we didn't want her birthday on 9/11, and she's in the hospital like today, and so I left to go to Jack in the Box to go get something to eat, but I heard about the shooting that happened 2 days ago, and I wanted to see, pay respects, and I also wanted to see, why it got so crazy the day before. And I thought the day before was crazy, I didn't understand that, me coming here, just to the street and parking was gonna cause me to get, attacked, pretty much, I saw one of my friends, her name is Tassi, she was sitting on a green box. So I stood up on the green box, so I was really high up, and I was staring at the police, but I wasn't saying anything, I was just looking at them. So then I got off the green box, and I went around the corner over towards the coin laundry.
Right.
They kept pushing us back, because they had, I noticed they had
gas masks?
Yeah, they had gas masks, and they wouldn't let, anyone in their perimeter, in case, I don't know, someone wanted to hurt them, some people did after they were abused by them. But anyways, so as we got around the corner, I was walking because they were forcing us, because there was a guy standing behind. There was a big line of SDPD, and they all had gas masks and the covers, and someone tapped them on the back, and the sheriffs were over here. So someone tapped them on the back, and they started pushing us kind of into the alley, the group of people. And as we got into the alley, they stayed in a lit part, and I was kind of standing 25 feet, 30 feet away from them, and I was just standing there like this, just walking around, And then all of a sudden there was a rapid tapping, and it sounded like machine gun, but not a machine gun, obviously.
All y'all going to hell. The devil.
Oh, they shot that guy with it.
The devil will collect y'all soul.
I felt myself get hit, and I looked, and it was a big mark that was but it had white on it, you know. It was like, it looked like baby powder was on it, and I was like okay, you know, but I didn't move my ground, you know. And
You got shot a couple times, right?
yeah, I got shot more than 6 times, because the first 2 shots
Let me see the other ones
I
real
didn't
quick.
feel. First 2 shots I didn't feel. I got shot right here on by my wedding ring, and then after the second shot I felt it, so I turned around and, you know, started trying to run, you know. You could probably see it on the video if it's online. And then I got shot in the back a lot of times. I haven't even seen my back yet. They just say it's worse than what it looks like on my arm, you know.
Oh, it's not bad. You just got that one right there.
He said there was one down here. Is there one down here?
Oh yeah, that one's worse.
And then I have one, like, kind of on
Your
my
inner
ass
thigh.
cheek.
This guy got shot with a paintball grenade in the 7-Eleven parking lot.
First day.
Let me see that shit.
And I was shot for doing nothing.
That's when you were by in the parking lot. Yeah, I saw you.
First shots that were shot.
Know why you out here.
First pellet shots that were shot.
Turn around.
Know why you out here. Don't just be out here.
Oh, that's crazy. Paintball, tear gas.
And they have like this baby powder stuff on it, and I didn't know why I was being shot at, because first of all, I never yelled at the cops. I didn't have any. I was dressed exactly how I am, just pajamas, shoes, and a shirt, and I wasn't being like fuck the police. I didn't say anything disrespectful about
And you
them.
weren't even part of the protest.
No, I was behind the people that were being erratic, and the people that were being erratic were up front. But when the shots started going off, when I was getting hit with the pellets, I didn't know what to do, so I just ran down, and I went around the block, went to Wendy's, and the cops were already out in front of 7-Eleven by the time I got out there. So I was yelling at the cops, because by now I'd been hit so many times, I was in so much pain. I told the police, I was screaming at the SDPD, give me your badge number, and they wouldn't give it to me, and they just kept shining lights in my face, and I couldn't see it, like their flashlights, and I asked them, I said, I don't, and then they strobed it, so I was like, I don't speak strobe light, and then I think they fired a warning shot before that, so I was kind of hiding behind the bush and the green electrical box. I was hiding behind the bush and the green electrical box in between Wendy's, like the drive-through, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's just this like smoke, and then it bloomed up like, you know, 7-8 feet, and it was a smoke grenade that they threw just at me, just because I was yelling at them, you know. And I was just like, but at that time I was surprised that I, you know, got shot with the BBs. But when they threw a smoke grenade just at one person, like, you know, because they only threw it at me, like to me, because there was no one around me. There was no one around me protesting.
Because you were asking for their info.
I ran away, but I was yelling at them, and I was like, give me your badge number, because I want to file a complaint. This is fucked up. I was just standing here. I just came here to pick up food. So anyways, they threw a grenade, and it caught fire to the bush. And I turned around because I had been shot so many times, and the 7 o'clock NBC News didn't know that. So they're like, oh, we're going to interview you. But then there was a lady that was running, you know, 20 feet ahead of me, and she was shot right here. So they wanted to interview her because she had a wound that was obviously noticeable. So it would, like, you know, put the story across more. And the bush was on fire, and right when the smoke came, though, the NBC guy yelled at me, and he was like, hey, get the fuck out of here. You're not allowed to stand right here.
There's a fire going from the tear gas grenade.
Oh, look at
It'll
that.
probably go out.
Hey, look at that! Y'all got a fire going.
Hey, you guys.
We're trying to do our job, so can
You guys just move a little ways back.
I'm trying to do my job too, sir.
Fight them. Go over there.
I'm not fighting. I'm reporting just like you guys.
You're drawing fire on us here.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just
I was 35
protecting
feet away
myself.
from the officer when he fucking shot me 10 times with the fucking pellet gun or
What
whatever.
does that tell you to do? Stay
What does
away
that tell
from
me?
the officer.
You can see a fire is going. That's a fire.
I have a newborn daughter. I just wanted to come down here.
Well, you should go home to be with your daughter.
When the tear gas was rising, he started yelling at me, and he said, leave, you know, he was told me to leave the area, and I left the area, and then I came back to the area once, you know, everything cooled down like, you know, 3 minutes later, and that's when I saw you, and you had the prize, the grenade that caught the fire in the bush that was thrown at me. That was just thrown at me. It landed about four feet away. It landed about like my arm, like diagonal. That's about how far it landed from me. After that, you know, it was just mayhem because they interviewed the girl and her eye got so much worse, and it was just crazy. It's just, I just don't expect that in El Cajon. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff in El Cajon, but you just don't expect like riot police to be shooting and flashbanging. Because I heard they were flashbanging. All I remember is just getting hit. You know, when you're getting hit, you're not thinking about that. You know, you're not thinking about, oh, there's a flashbang, you know, behind me. You know, so I didn't know that they threw 3 flashbangs in the alley next to me. But you know, like, that's not what was in my head. What was stuck in my head is the police brutality of them shooting me with the pepper bullets for just standing there and not doing anything. I was minding my own business. I was just looking around, you know, because I was curious. So I get shot because of that, and then I ask for a badge number, and they throw tear gas at me. So that's the end of the story, pretty much. And fuck the police. That's what I think now.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.